Thank you, Sensen. Yeah, my name is Vice, the good Vice. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Abli. But before joining Abli, I was a senior digital finance advisor at USAID. And working closely with the central bank, we help scale the adoption of mobile payments in the Philippines. And you're probably familiar with GCash and Maya. And we also set up two interoperable payment rails, InstaPay and PesoNet. So, Abli is a Filipino word which means open or to open. So, we are an open and inclusive infrastructure for instant payments. So, in the Philippines, our national instant payment rail or scheme is called InstaPay. It currently runs using an infrastructure operated by BancNet, which is a consortium of the big banks in the Philippines. But the problem with the current setup is that InstaPay is operating below scale. It's hardly contributing to the growth of digital payments in our country. Now, if you look at the participation rate of financial institutions in InstaPay, it's too low. Only about 18% or 91 out of 519 institutions that are supposed to connect to InstaPay. So it's still a big market, 82%, 428 financial institutions excluded. In terms of utilization, if you compare us with other countries like Thailand, Brazil, Malaysia, India, Indonesia, we're the laggard in terms of usage per capita at 2 transactions per month per person. Yeah, and that's ridiculous. You know why? Because we invented mobile money in 2000. Yeah, so there's a number of limitations and challenges of the current infrastructure, and I'd like to focus on just 3 main barriers. The first one is the high barrier for any financial institution to connect to InstaPay. First, as a bank, you need to set up a dedicated infrastructure just to connect to InstaPay. And you need to pay something like $40,000 to $50,000 per year just to maintain that connectivity. You also have to pay one of the highest, fees to pay an infrastructure provider. I think probably the highest in the region. And so, in total, it's not viable for any financial institution, especially a small financial institution, to offer InstaPay. Okay, transaction fees. That's mind-boggling. When all countries are now charging 0 transaction fees for P2P, we are charging 50 cents. Merchant payments, we're charging 1.5 to 3%. Sorry, Visa. It's comparable to the card industry, when instant payment systems should charge very low transaction fees. And the service sucks. 98% availability. It breaks down almost every day. We're now processing something like 17 to 20 million transactions per day. Almost every day, it's down. Yeah. So with Abli, we're building a 3-layer infrastructure to bring payments in the Philippines to the next level. So first is the money movement infrastructure. So what we'll do is we'll make it easy for financial institutions to connect to the infrastructure by collaborating with third-party technology providers and letting them offer InstaPay as a service, like a SaaS business model. We'll charge a very low transaction fee, never heard in the industry. So it's going to be viable for smaller financial institutions. Second, we'll build a value-added service or a vast service layer on top of the money movement infrastructure, and we let fintechs build solutions like debit pool, direct debit, auto bills pay to support multiple use cases. The problem with InstaPay today, very few services. Straight, simple P2P and P2M transactions only. Yeah. So we'll further expand the ecosystem through an open finance layer and let other fintechs connect to it, like lending institutions, even corporates and microfinance institutions, by enabling embedded banking and open banking. So using an ecosystem approach will expand the scale and scope of our payment ecosystem. And by the way, we will commit to a very high SLA to the regulator, 99.9% availability, and high throughput capacity at 10,000 TPS A magnet, I think, is doing something like 1,000 TPS today. So it's a big market, $2.8 trillion in GTV, broken down into 69 billion transactions, of which 70% is the market for instant payments. This is our take rate, about 53% lower than that of banknet. So if we just get 20% of the market, we're looking at about 15 million revenues per year. We're not even talking about value-added services and open finance, because that's greenfield. I mean, we can charge any rate we want. Oh, just kidding. Okay, so this is the Avengers. Our CTO, Jerome, led the digitalization of tax payments in the Philippines, and he has promoted the digital transformation of MSMEs. Third is our general counsel. He leads the digitalization efforts for legal documents, and he has contributed significantly in crafting e-commerce regulations in the Philippines. Guay is our chief product officer. She's also the founder of Mochi, an auto bill pay service. She's advocating for MSME empowerment through greater access to payments and other financial services. Yeah, so we're raising $2.5 million in seed funding, essentially to fund the licensing with the central bank and to build our value-added service platform and our go-to-market to onboard at least 20 financial institutions by middle of next year. Yeah, I'm happy to talk to you and talk about details. So let's build an inclusive financial ecosystem together. Thank you.